Good afternoon, and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 3 of 2025. And I really want to be focusing this year on creativity and imagination, and just the importance of culturing that within ourselves and becoming creators of our world, our own individual world, and this world that we collectively share. Our imaginations and our thoughts are so critically important to what we then experience in our world. And there is a lot of attention that we can be putting on positive things in our life. And of course, the opposite is true as well. But the more we put our attention on anything, the more it's going to grow and expand in our world. So the one thing is to be able to create and imagine things, or to culture our creativity. Two different things in a way. So our imagination is what it is. And when we stop for a moment, close our eyes, we can really begin to feel our imagination come to life. And it's so important to take some time in any given day to take some quiet moments and see what comes up in our awareness. The other thing is to actually culture our creativity and imagination. And I can guarantee you that you're not going to do it in a big way on any kind of screen device. In fact, I think you're going to really take away from your ability to create and imagine, or to imagine and creatively think, by being on these devices. Because instead of beginning to create from within ourselves, we create from without ourselves. It's really interesting. It's just the words right there. To create without ourself. Basically, that's just following the lead of others. That's following the images that come to us through these devices. And by God, you can spend all day on these devices looking at all kinds of things. And if you think about those things that you've watched afterward, they do fill your awareness, your pictorial awareness that lives within our brain physiologies. We can see those images again that we watched in a movie or in a YouTube video. Now, to culture our true imagination, I think hearing or reading stories is the key. You can hear a story from a friend. This is the beautiful thing about going out with people that you enjoy. Ask them questions so that they tell you stories about their life. And as each story is shared, your imagination is totally brought into play. You're imagining all the things that that person is talking about. A book can do the same thing, especially if there's no pictures or illustrations. You read a book, and as you're reading along, your imagination is brought into play. How disappointing it can be. You've read a book, and then a movie comes out about that book, and then you go to watch the movie, and it's completely different than what you imagined it would look like. The important part was imagining what you think it looked like. That's the important part. Culture that imagination within yourself. So, This coming year, as best I can, I'm just going to be telling stories, fairy tales. Some of them are incredibly outlandish, the things that go on in these fairy tales. They're not real, but they invoke, again, our creative potential within our minds, our brain physiologies to create images. And it is true, I believe, that anything that we can think, we can hopefully create as well in our lives. Oh, this is just so important. You got to know yourself well enough to know what images are your true dreams, and then to know how to go about through activity creating that reality in the world that you're living in. How dissatisfying it is if it just lives here in this screen that maybe you're watching right now. Hopefully, maybe you're just listening. But imagine if our dreams just existed virtually instead of really being able to experience it through all of our senses, of which there aren't just 5. So, my little input for today: read books, listen to stories, listen to Audible books, encourage your friends to talk and tell stories. Don't miss out on a single opportunity for the real thing to come into your awareness. And put these phones away as often as you can. Put them aside. Put them somewhere where they won't distract you. Human beings have lived without all this electronic stuff for millennium. And I think we're probably a lot better off for it if we don't use these things so much. Images? I don't know. Yeah, I've got a lot of pics on my phone, but all those images of our entire life experience, everything we've seen, felt, tasted, touched, all of it, felt, it's all stored as well. Okay. Have a good day.